All right, everybody. So I had some questions that I hadn't answered, and I guess people put them in the comments like a year ago or so, maybe even longer. So what I'm gonna do today is go over some of these Q&As, and I'll save the video up for everybody later on, just so that you can see it and watch it when you go back on the playback. So, but I got a bunch of questions right here in front of me. If I didn't answer your question when you sent me a message a long time ago, um, in my community tab in YouTube, I must have just asked the question and never came back and checked in on it. But if I did, I apologize. But today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go through at least three of them. I'll be on here for about a half hour just to, so I'm not killing nobody with all these questions and stuff like that. But so what we'll do, let's start off with the first question. All right. First question. Mono K. It says, would you recommend weight loss via an elliptical machine? If so, how would you use it, resistance and incline, and how long? I have another question. Oh, the person related. All right, bet. So as far as the elliptical, what's up? Y'all joining the chat. It might take a while to come back. It's only like one person in here, but I'm gonna get started. So to answer your question about the elliptical, my friend, what I like to do when I do cardio is I go for a feeling, right? So it doesn't really make a difference of how intense you're going versus how intense somebody else is going. The key is that you have to make it so that you're getting like a serious sweat out of it. So with an elliptical machine, it's better for you if you don't have knee problems. And for weight loss, I think that it's probably the best thing to do if you're trying to lose weight, because you don't have to put a lot of pressure on your joints. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on your knees. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on your back from running and trying to lose that weight and going up and down and slamming on those knees. You don't have to do that. So the elliptical machine is actually probably the best thing to do for losing weight. Only problem is with that elliptical machine is that it doesn't give you that natural burn feeling unless you really go hard. So if you're trying to lose weight, and I'm not sure how out of shape you are, but it might be easy to hit a plateau with an elliptical. So just be careful. And, if it starts getting, easy for you, turn up the resistance. I try to put my stuff on when I do cardio and I have access to a gym. I'm not really doing elliptical like that. What I would do is I would put the treadmill on a high incline, like at a 10 or something like that, and walk it real slow. But while I'm holding on, and just try to get through it until I start breaking a sweat. But that incline is a beast. So when you have the incline on, you don't really need to turn the speed up too high. So you can keep the speed low, but turn the incline up high, and I'm sure you'll still get the same results. So that's the first. Hopefully that helped you. Hopefully that makes sense. And as far as the length of time, you want to get to your target heart rate, your fat burning zone. All right. So, I mean, if you want to get into target heart rates and stuff like that, they probably have the sticker on the machine to tell you where you need to be in order to start losing weight or in order to start burning fat. But that's going to be based off of your weight, and I think it's like 220 minus your age or something like that, and that tells you what your target heart rate is. But all of that stuff is kind of strange. All you need to do is just focus on getting to that high sweat, and if you can get to sweating faster, that's a lot better. But you want to be on there burning off the calories, and the faster you start burning the calories, the most you probably need to be on there for is like 20-30 minutes. Anything other than that is just you're doing like long aerobics cardio, and aerobics isn't necessarily good for losing weight. You want to be in a fat burning state of cardio, not just I'm feeling good today type of cardio. Okay. All right. So let me see. Let's see. Let me see. I got another question up here. Okay. Diego Conorado says he put on some muscle mass this year. How do I get shredded without losing a whole lot of muscle mass? I weigh 205 and I'm 5'11". Okay, so he's my same dimensions pretty much. You 205 and 5'11", and you want to, get shredded without losing too much muscle mass. When it comes to getting shredded, the key is you just necessarily don't want to eat anything too nasty. So as long as you're not eating real fatty foods, and you're not eating anything that's too ridiculous, you'll never really get, too out of shape. You just got to focus on making sure that all your foods are high quality. They're still lean foods. And if you're eating real lean foods, you'll never put on that fat. So with me, what I like to do is I'll eat things that put the mass on but aren't greasy. So for example, I made a video the other day. I'm gonna show you guys what I eat for, like all day long, and I'm just munching and stuff like that. But You got to find things like avocados. You got to have stuff like potatoes, not potatoes, but like sweet potatoes. You know, you can have regular potatoes if you want to occasionally, but sweet potatoes, just calorically dense food. Use olive oil when you're cooking. You know, that's like, I think 240 calories per teaspoon or something like that, per tablespoon. Look at the back of the ingredients list. That's a lot of calories, you know. So get your calories in any way you can, and keep that fat off anyway. That way you don't have to worry about getting shredded. Because when it comes to getting shredded, that means that you got some fat on you, and you're trying to get the fat off so that you can actually see how lean you are. You see what I'm saying? To really get shredded. And so that's all conditioning. But it's conditioning coupled with eating the right foods, because you still, even if you started eating bad and you wanted to do a lot of cardio, you're still not going to get lean by just doing cardio and not eating clean. So make sure you're eating, you know, if you want to get shredded, like nasty shredded, you make sure you're eating clean, and you got to do that junk for like 3 months, because the second month is when you'll start seeing the results. You're not going to see anything the first month. The second month, you'll start actually seeing like what you're supposed to look like. And then that third month, it's going to be hell, because you got to really drag your feet trying to stay lean, because being lean is a job. I don't know if you've ever been lean before, but being lean and being, you know, dehydrated or low on water or something like that, that's a job, man. So, you know, I wouldn't want to really wish that on anybody, because it's hard to maintain when you're lean like that. So keep that in mind, all right? All right. Next question. How big of a role do genetics play? How big of a role do genetics play? And is below 18 too young for heavy weights? And this is from Sam Crombie. My bad. Sam Crombie. You couldn't see it. All right. So two-part questions here. How big of a role do genetics play? Okay, so here's the thing. I think this question is kind of like it's two-sided when you start talking about genetics, because you're going to be born with a shape already. And whatever your shape is that you're born with, that God gave you when he created you, however he intended for you to be when you came into this planet, that's your shape. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got to your best, you could never look like somebody else unless y'all have a similar build. So genetics are going to give you your own, you know, your own frame. That's like, genetics is like saying, okay, I got a Mustang, he got a Hellcat, and my man got a Camaro, right? How does the manufacturer play in how fast the cars are going to go? It's like they 3 different cars, you know what I'm saying? And then also you got different drivers in those cars too, and they all got different horsepower. They all got different weight, different distribution of how they pull. One might have a different, you know, thing in the motor that makes it go faster off the takeoff, but another one might have it where it goes faster off the long run. You see what I'm saying? So you just never really know. They're all fast cars though. They all beasts. So when you're talking about genetics, you have to look at yourself and say, how far can I go? How can I tap out? How can I max out my body, you know, to the max? And don't really worry about anybody else around the size of you, because what I've started to notice is when you start talking about genetics and especially like, you know, how big can you get naturally and stuff like that, you just never know. Like some people just fat naturally. I couldn't get, if I, on the flip side, if I wanted to get fat naturally, and the question was how fat can you get naturally? How overweight can you get naturally? I don't know. Like for my body, I don't even think I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Because for one, I can't stomach a lot of stuff. And then two, it's like, you know, that's just a generic question. How big can you get naturally? Who knows? Just keep on lifting. You're going to tap out. But I think somewhere around like your first 25 pounds of putting on that mass, like when your body wants it and it wants to kind of stick to it, you put that first 25 pounds on. But like around like the age of 30, like 25, 30, you'll probably be where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? If you start working out now, if you're 18 and you're trying to work out, like by the time you're 22, that whatever that frame is probably going to be the frame that you carry until your you know, older years. And whatever that body is, you're going to have to just continue to develop on it, because to get big comes from eating more foods. And if you know that you tapped yourself out and all you can handle is, you know, a certain amount of calories in a day, and that's what gets you to your size, then you're not really going to want to keep on eating more and more and more foods all the time. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, like for me, I probably can squeeze in 2,500 calories in a day before I start feeling like, all right, that's enough. Like I don't want to eat no more. So my body's only going to be accustomed to, you know, taking in 2,500 calories, 3,000 calories on a good day if I want to. But for the most part, though, you can't handle all that stuff. So, what, however your body maxes out, it just maxes out, and that's just what it is. You probably just got to figure it out. Like, I know some dudes who are like 160, small but shredded. I know some other dudes who are like 175 and they look bigger than me. You know what I mean? So it's so strange when it starts getting down to what's what and how can one thing work for somebody else. It's too hard to answer that question, man. But as far as you being 18 years old, I was working out. You know what I'm saying? I would have worked. I was already in high school. I was in weight room. You know what I'm saying? So I was already lifting in high school just as much as I could. I wasn't doing nothing too crazy. I wasn't squatting crazy weights and nothing like that, but I was definitely lifting in high school. So you're 18, probably, since I'm late to replying to this, you're 19 now or 20 now, something like that. You're not too young. Go ahead and get big. All right. Next question. Let's see. I got like I'm gonna spend like another 5 minutes in here. I hate that my sound wasn't working, because if the sound was working, everybody would have stuck around. I had to close it out. It's this crazy. It's YouTube, man. It's wild. All right. Let me see. Okay, here's one. And I'll let this be my last one. So, what suggestions do you have for men in their 30s building back their strength foundation of their physique? So, 30s, I'm in my 30s. You see what I'm saying? So, this is like, in your 30s, you can get busy. The only thing you got to be careful with in your 30s is that you might pull a tendon or something. So you can lift, you can go crazy in the gym, but just remember that you might mess around and pull a tendon or something like that, or a ligament. So don't try and go hard like you used to. I don't know if y'all watch sports or you watch MMA or something like that, but there'll be guys in there that once they turn 30, they might throw a leg kick and all of a sudden that leg is gone, because those bones get more brittle, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Once you kind of get to that age, it is your prime year. Like, your 30s are your prime years as far as like fitness and health, but it's probably easier to get conditioned when you're older like that anyway, unless you have, unless you're coming from scratch. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you're coming from scratch, then it's going to be tough for you, because mentally you have to walk yourself through going from a beginner all the way to now an intermediate or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you never worked out before and you got that bad, and now you're at a place where it's like, dang, what am I going to do? And I'm 30 and I'm just starting for the first time. Yeah, that's going to be tough. You feel me? That's going to be tough. But the good news is that if you keep in mind what I say about eating the right foods and being lean, and just putting on the weight with eating clean, like eating clean foods and a lot of clean foods, so that when you're putting on size, you're only feeding your muscles with quality stuff. If you can do that for like 3 months or so, I think you'll really see a lot of results, because your body never was used to seeing it. And so you got to really put your head down and get grimy. You see what I'm saying? And tough it out and really go through a wild diet. I feel like the biggest challenge for people who are in their 30s and anybody who's coming on a journey, I feel like the biggest challenge for anybody on their journey is the fact that you got to do something that you're not comfortable with doing. And you have to do something that you're not used to doing. So if you would have started and it was part of your lifestyle for years and years and years, that's different than okay, I'm gonna start for the first time, and this is my first day, and I'm going back to scratch, and I haven't, my mother was here the other day, and she had rode a bike, and she's in her 50s, right? So she was like, I rode a bike today, and that's cool, but when you think about it, it's like, man, how, we started talking about it, she was like, I haven't ridden a bike in 20, 30 years or something like that. And so her body just wasn't conditioned for it, but it can get back to it. And so if she starts to do it more and more and more and more and more, I'm not saying she's going to become a cyclist, but she'll get back to the point where she's good enough at being able to ride bikes like it's nothing. And it'll start coming back to you, but you got to be consistent with it and you got to stay on it. But when you're older like that and you're stuck in your ways, I think for us, just being an adult, you kind of tend to get stuck in your ways, and you get stuck in your ways, fairly young. So, so if it's something that you're used to doing, you're comfortable with doing when you're younger, you'll be comfortable with doing when you're older. But when it's time to start over and start brand new, and you like, okay, new year, new me, and this is my first time ever doing something, I think it's very complicated, and you have to think about the fact that mentally you're gonna have a problem, and not just the physical part. The physical part is it's all the same. It's all relative. You know, like getting in shape is all relative. It just is. It's about what shape do you. What's the best version of yourself, and if you can tap into the best version of yourself, then you're in shape. You know what I'm saying? And really, when you think about it, I think if you kind of got to be an intense person to want to be in shape and be better than everybody else. I think for me, that's what used to drive me. Like when I really was putting on my size and going and really seeing like, what could happen, people were in my ear and it was like, yo, you look good. And I was like, I look good. I had always wanted to work out, but I never anticipated doing anything with my body. I always wanted to be a professional athlete in something, but I wasn't good enough in basketball. I never played football. I never got a chance to play baseball because I moved around too much. So all these different reasons for me moving around and how I was in school and not in traveling didn't allow me to do the things that I really wanted to do. So I never got a chance to play those sports and to do those things like that. So when it came into having an idea and somebody was like, yo, you're pretty good at this, or you look good at this. And I was like, you know what? I do kind of look better than a lot of these people if I'm comparing myself on a bodybuilding level, not like on a vanity thing, but more of if I'm gonna get on stage and use the tools of my body and compete with them. Yeah, I look better than a lot of people. So why not get into it? You know what I'm saying? But I think for me, it was just, I was used to it. So keep that in mind. But yes, this was from Adam Jackson. Hopefully I gave you some good suggestions on building your frame back. I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be a tough journey, especially if you haven't been on it like that. And I don't know, I'm late to answering this question again, but if you haven't been on your journey and you're just getting on it, it's going to be tough, and I feel for you. I feel for all of y'all, man. You think about how many people start and stop every year. You think about and I used to work in the gym, so I know what it's like when people are like, all right, new year, new me. I'm coming in to get started again. And last year was this year I got a new trainer. This year you can do all the things in the book that you say you want to do. You can buy all the clothes, get the newest workout program, do all your research on what's going to work. You could talk to everybody about it, watch videos on how to do exercises and stuff like that. But doing that grunt work consistently, like actually going in there and getting dirty and really staying with it for months and months and months, that's hard, man. And that's tough. So if you look better than somebody, you deserve it. Like that's when you see somebody who's in great shape, you should commend that person because that person is probably more disciplined than you. And discipline starts, in an area that if you can control the discipline with your body, you can control discipline everywhere, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing that you do have that you can control, which is your what you put into your mouth, how often you're working out or whatever. So if you're doing that thing, yeah, you'll be all right. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I got more questions up here, but every Thursday, my plan is to get on here and start doing a live stream. I wish it would have worked out better, but the sound thing is kind of crazy. So next Thursday, we'll get back on here and I got more questions that I'm going to go through. I'm going to leave this video up, so I'll give you guys a chance to watch it on the playback. If you got any comments you want to add to it, leave it in the description. Don't forget to click the link, get your Kelly Brown's Naturals containers, download your ebook. And also, I had a question from a couple people who were asking if I still did meal plans and workout plans and such. I don't do meal plans and workout plans, but what I am planning on doing is putting together an ebook for workouts for everybody. So a workout plan ebook that's like my guide to putting on size, my standard. I don't have access to the gym, so I can't really. I wish I could put the ebook together where I can demonstrate it and show you the workouts, but I don't have access to a gym right now, and nor do I have anybody to go with me. So I'm gonna put the report together, write down the workout plan on the calendar so you can see it, and I'll probably package those up and start selling those on my website pretty soon, just as a downloadable ebook. So anyway. Thanks for sticking through the end of the live stream. Next week is going to be better. I hope you guys enjoyed what you're listening to. Everybody who's watching on the playback, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.